There are reports of violence and arson across Bangladesh. When the house of the Prime Minister of Bangladesh wasn't safe from the so-called revolutionaries who've turned into looters in under 24 hours, you can imagine what the situation would be on ground. Awami League leaders have been targeted, their homes torched, individuals targeted, but it's not just the ruling party leadership. Hindus are in the line of fire in Bangladesh. Hindu temples, Hindu shops, Hindu businesses, they've been targeted, and several are now trying to flee to India, seeking shelter in India. Before I get you more on this big story, let's start with the day's top developments.
Unrest and violence in Bangladesh. A day after Sheikh Hasina quit as the Prime Minister and fled the country, protests are only escalating. Over 100 have died in violence across Bangladesh after Hasina's ouster. Angry protesters took down Mujibur Rahman's statue and formed the streets of Dhaka. Former Bangladesh cricket team captain Mashrafe Murtaza's home was torched by protesters. Protesters also stormed into Dhaka police headquarters. In a video, police could be heard declaring they will not work anymore. Attacks on minorities is on the rise. ISKCON temple in Meherpur was vandalized and set on fire. Deities of Lord Jagannath, Balbhadra and Subhadra Devi were burnt.
500 से 1000 आदमी आया तो हमारा इधर से घुसकर सब कुछ तोड़-फोड़ किया। साथ से उन लोग हमारा मंदिर पे अग्नि संयोग किया और गन पाउडर और इधर बोमा भी हमको निक्षेप किया। आप देख सकते हैं ये सारी सब कुछ तोड़-फोड़ किया। ये जो हमारा जो मंदिर का जो सीलिंग वो भी टूट गया बम निक्षेप करने के बाद।
Hindu houses and business establishments were targeted by mobs in several districts.
हमला का बहुत संभावना है और सब भक्त लोग और हिंदू जनगोष्ठी पहरा दे रहा है। चिटागंग में 3 टेम्पल में अटैक के लिए चाहिए और थोड़ा अटैक किया और हिंदू जनगोष्ठी और कुछ मुस्लिम पीपल सहायता किया।
Meanwhile, Sheikh Hasina remains in India. The Bangladesh Air Force plane that brought her to India has returned. Security has been tightened at the Hindon Airbase near Delhi, where Hasina is right now. VIP cars were spotted entering and leaving the base. BSF DG Diljit Chaudhary visited All India Bangladesh border to take stock of the situation. External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar briefed Parliament on the ground situation in Bangladesh.
Since the election in January 2024, there has been considerable tension. This underlying foundation aggravated a student agitation that started in June this year. There was growing violence, including attacks on public buildings and infrastructure. The violence continued through the month of July. Throughout this period, we repeatedly counseled restraint and urged that the situation be diffused through dialogue.
There is no clarity on Sheikh Hasina's next move. The former Prime Minister's asylum is still in the works. With Suryagni Roy, Shivangi, Ashutosh and Piyush Mishra, Bureau Report, India Today.
So more than 24 hours later, Sheikh Hasina is still in India and maybe here even longer. But let me try and explain where she is right now. So this is an aerial view of the Hindon Airbase. The Hindon Airbase is a very crucial Indian Air Force base on the outskirts of Delhi. When we were to talk about the outskirts of Delhi, it's as the crow flies, barely about 15 kilometers from the international airport in the national capital. But this is a military airbase, and this is an airbase where you have the C-17 Globemasters, the strategic heavy lift transport aircraft of the Indian Air Force. You have them deployed here. You also have the C-130J tactical airlift Hercules aircraft of the Indian Air Force. Now, both are American-made tactical and strategic airlift aircraft. They're crucial to the Indian Air Force. And right next to this is the guest house, very close, in fact, to the runway, far from the roadhead, where Sheikh Hasina is at what is being described as a safe house. It's a very it's a very nice guest house of the Indian Air Force. That's where she is, in the officers' mess here. I want to bring in India Today's Shivani Sharma for more on this. Shivani, any clarity? Because Delhi was supposed to be a pit stop for Sheikh Hasina. Initially, it was being said that she'll refuel and perhaps change aircraft, and she would be on her way to the United Kingdom. But I believe there are some hitches there. What next for Sheikh Hasina?
Rahul, we are right now outside Hindon Airbase, where Sheikh Hasina landed around 24 hours back. And today we've heard Dr. S Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister in the Parliament, who has also confirmed that Sheikh Hasina wanted an approval, an emergency approval and a safe passage for escape that was provided by India. She has landed in Hindon, and for the moment she is in India. That means she will continue to be in India until she decides upon her next steps, the next asylum where she wants to head. But as of now, there are some bottlenecks, some hitches, as we are also getting through our sources the inputs from United Kingdom that they have not yet approved and cleared Sheikh Hasina's coming there. She's looking for other options. Meanwhile, we also see a lot of meetings happening here, Gaurav. Yesterday, NSA had received Sheikh Hasina here. Then we also saw her Prime Minister was briefed about not only the situation that's emerging in Bangladesh, but how India has beefed its security along the borders, and also on the movement of former PM Sheikh Hasina, who is in India, who is in Hindon Airbase, in a safe house protected by the Garud commandos. And now we have to see when Sheikh Hasina decides and she gets clearances for her next tour, a next asylum country she heads to. She wants to go to UK because her family is already there. Yes. But we have to see that how long it would take her to go there, and by that time arrangements have been done properly to treat her well with full courtesy here in Delhi, in Hindon.
Keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. But let's now talk about what is being described as the regime change conspiracy in Bangladesh. Now, there are experts who say that the Islamic Chhatra Shivir, the student wing of the Jamaat-e-Islami in Bangladesh, that's emerged as one of the key cogs in the wheel to orchestrate this regime change. Yes, there was student unrest. Nobody's denying the student unrest. But did the Islamic Chhatra Shivir members infiltrate into multiple universities in Bangladesh? Were social media platforms like TikTok, again, the Chinese role becomes extremely crucial. Remember, TikTok is banned in India. TikTok, Snapchat, social media platform X, were they used to foment trouble in Bangladesh? Get lakhs and lakhs of students and other protesters out on the streets in Bangladesh and other parts of the country, not just in Dhaka, but a move to Dhaka on the 5th of August from across the length and breadth of Bangladesh. We bring you more in this report.
Months of violence and protest across Bangladesh ultimately ended Sheikh Hasina's 15-year rule. But was it an organic uprising, or is there more to the Bangladesh crisis than meets the eye? Intelligence sources say the blueprint of Operation Regime Change was drafted in London in collaboration with Pakistan, ISI and China. Bangladeshi officials claim to have evidence of meetings between the acting chief Bangladeshi Nationalist Party, Tariq Rahman, and ISI officials in Saudi Arabia. Son of Khalida Zia also allegedly met ISI operatives. Intel sources also point to China and Pakistan ISI hand in fanning the protest that forced Sheikh Hasina to flee. Islami Chhatra Shibir, the student wing of hardline Jamaat-e-Islami Bangladesh, which is known for its anti-India stance, turned the protest over quotas into a determined effort to replace Hasina with a regime that is friendly to Pakistan and China. The intelligence input indicate meticulous planning by ICS members several months before, aimed at instigating widespread violence across the nation. According to Intel sources, significant portion of this funding is believed to have originated from Chinese entities operating in Pakistan. Islami Chhatra Shibir has massive presence in Dhaka and Chittagong universities, and its cadres incited and brainwashed students.
Even on the social media platforms, anti-Bangladesh handles were fueling protests. Videos of violence against protesters and posters demonizing Sheikh Hasina were being manufactured by Bangladesh Nationalist Party and its affiliated accounts like Student Wing and Media Cell. A large chunk of these were being handled and amplified by US-based handles, and 500 anti-Sheikh Hasina government tweets were made, including those which were being done from Pakistani handles.
India Today's OSINT team has also found evidence of the role of Bangladesh's main opposition party in an anti-India campaign that mimics the Maldives, India Out. An in-depth analysis of more than 4,000 tweets show hashtag boycott Indian products along with some other low-volume hashtags like hashtag India Out and hashtag boycott India started gaining traction on social media platforms in Bangladesh a week after Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina took oath following controversial elections boycotted by opposition parties. Many accounts actively pushing the hashtags also posted objectionable and derogatory tweets against India, Hindus and Hinduism, and were found celebrating terrorist acts and the Taliban rule in Afghanistan. Bureau Report, India Today.